Hi, it's Sandy Wiley. I'm very excited that I finally got my new book, Love Bomb, by a Harvard psychologist. You see Harvard University is on the back as well as the front of the book. And look how thick it is. There's all these pages. It's like, it's 215 pages. Why I'm so excited about this book, my latest book, is because it took 16 long years to finally stand up to this Harvard psychologist. 16. Last week, I made a formal complaint to the board. That was after 2 other attempts that I tried to make a complaint. One in 2006 and another in 2008. And finally, now it being 2022, no, 23, right? Oh God. I finally did. This psychologist insidiously brainwashed me into believing I couldn't live without him. He manipulated me. And that's what I want to talk about today in this video on mental health, is how people can manipulate you. They don't have to have a doctorate degree from Harvard. They don't have to be a very wealthy, rich psychologist living in a prestigious neighborhood charging $300 for a 50-minute session to do it, but it sure helps. It was love at first sight when I walked in with Dick Geist. Love at first sight. I mean, this guy just swept me off my feet. He literally charmed the panties off of me. And it's in here too, I totally stripped for him. See the infamous strip session? Can you read that? Because I certainly can't say any of these words. I can't read this because it's X-rated and this is YouTube. I want to be monetized. If I have a strike against me, just one strike, you can't have any strikes. Otherwise, you will not be monetized. So, got to keep it G-rated. He told me not to worry about the money. When he told me you need to come and see me 5 hours every week. I go, what? 5 hours a week? I never heard of such a thing. And he said, and I said, my insurance is not going to cover that. He goes, don't worry about it. And I said, what? Someone, now who do you know personally who says, don't worry about the money? Never heard of it. Imagine if I go to a store and I'm buying some groceries or whatever, and it comes out to $80 and I go, oh shit, I only have 50. Do you think they're going to say, don't worry about the money and just let me through? So he seemed too good to be true. He gave me his cell phone. He gave me his house phone. He told me to call him up anytime, day or night. On his vacation, he invited me to his vacation in Maine. He let me sit in his lap. I mean, I know personal things about his body. I know he has a mole on his chest. I even grabbed his. He let me do whatever I wanted to do. And he just was so charming because he was narcissistic. Didn't I do a video about narcissism? Be very careful. Manipulators will be very charming and promise you the moon in the beginning of the relationship. Okay? That's when the little bulbs started going off in my head. This guy seems too good to be true. And guess what? If something is too good to be true, It is. It really is. I just couldn't believe, like, he wanted to see me. He wanted me to call him. I wrote him every day. I called him every day. I saw him 5 hours a week. I saw him on some weekends. I've been in his house. Everything to manipulate me. Everything. That's what you got to watch out for. If something seems too good to be true, it usually is. Watch out for people who put it on thick in the beginning, right? Really thick. Charming you, like doing everything for you. In the beginning, they will, till they get you hooked. That's what it is. They get you hooked by, going out of their way to be really nice. Whatever you need, whatever you want, your wish is my command. That's what he told me. Those are his exact words. You know what his exact words were when I first met him? He said, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. And I wished and wished to have a relationship with this guy. But I didn't know this guy was manipulative and played head games with me. Why do you think they call psychologists shrinks? Some of them play head games, And this guy messed me up so bad. He brainwashed you. Now, how does someone brainwash you? Like, think of cults, all right? The Manson murders. Charles Manson had a following. He had a group of people to do all his dirty work. Now, how do you think he did that, right? He brainwashed those people. Those people probably came from traumatic. I didn't look up their backgrounds because I don't like to read horrific murders like that. I don't really want to read about these vicious monsters. So I'm not going to read about their backgrounds. But you can go look it up. I bet you they had traumatic backgrounds. Okay? I bet you those people that followed him didn't have a safe, secure core at home. A loving mother and father who nourished them, right? And loved them. I bet not. That's why these people like Charles Manson can come in and act like, the Jesus Christ, like the person. Who was that other guy, too? David Koresh in Texas. Was it Texas? Who had all these women, falling down all over him, and he got all these women pregnant. These guys that manipulate, brainwash people, because the people don't have a secure sense of themselves. See, they're really broken because of their, childhoods. They have traumatic childhoods. They don't have a secure core sense of themselves. And therefore, they want someone to rescue them. They want someone to act like that parent that they never had, to come in and, like a parent, tell them what to do and like lead them off into the sunset. But they really lead them to their own demise. Yeah. Like the guy that drinking the Kool-Aid. Remember that? What was his name? Jim something? You know what I'm talking about. He had another cult, and he made everyone kill themselves. Drinking cyanide, a Kool-Aid laced with cyanide. They all believed him. So whatever he said, that's brainwashing. And this is what he did to me. He brainwashed and manipulated me. So it took me 16 years to break away from him, and 16 years to finally report him. In hindsight, I can see it all. And that's why I want to give you my hindsight. I want to give you my wisdom so that you don't become brainwashed or manipulated by people. You don't have to go to a psychologist to be manipulated or brainwashed. It could be, like I said, these Charles Manson followers. It could be anyone in, like any of these people in a cult. It could be someone you have a relationship with, a lover or something. that can manipulate you and have you doing things that you normally would never do, and staying in a very abusive relationship much longer than you ever would because of the manipulation. I'm outside doing my in the car here waiting for my laundry that's in the dryer. But that's why I want to, promote this book as a personal victory for me. This book is my victory. Yes, I've written other books, and I've had other victories with other psychologists that I have mentioned. The one I had sex with, I got a lawyer in a lawsuit and won that, and I also went to the board. But this psychologist coaxed me into having that relationship. This one. So it was sick. That's how sick he was. I just want you to read it. It's a really good book. I can't wait myself. I mean, I wrote it, but guess what? I bought an author's copy right here, and I'm going to read it. I always read my own books. I mean, why would I tell you guys or anyone out there to read my book if I haven't read it? Even though I wrote the book, right? I'm still going to read the book. And sometimes I read these books years after I've written them because I want to read it like, I didn't write it. Like I'm just a stranger reading about this person's life. And these are the things that you have to watch out for. What I'm trying to tell you is someone too good to be true, someone who gives you way too much, who offers you the moon in the beginning, right? In the beginning, this is how they act. Very charming. They'll do anything for you, right? But that's just to hook you. And then once you're hooked, they can treat you like shit. And they do over and over, and you stay. Why do you stay? Because you can't understand what happened to that wonderful guy, right? He's got to be in there somewhere. But that was just a facade. It was just a facade. So then he can treat me like shit. And I say, but wait a minute. I don't understand. I don't get it. He was just so wonderful to me. How could he turn into this like a Jekyll and a Hyde? That's what you have to watch out for, that Jekyll and Hyde. When someone goes from, being this wonderful, loving, caring person that's available 24/7 to someone telling you what's wrong with you. He said, I was too intense. I was too demanding. I wanted too much attention. See, after he got done using me, then he threw me out like the trash, saying that, I was this, I was that, I was too much. So get the book. There's a lot of great stuff in here. That one and the session where I brought in a dog collar and a real dog collar, spiked black leather, and a leash and a real dog bone. And he, I think I wanted to be abused, yeah. It was very sad. I just was re-traumatized all over again from my childhood. And, I think deep down I knew, because I had talked to other psychologists and they said, he's stringing you along, you're going to get hurt, but I wouldn't listen. But people that brainwash you, they're very charming in the beginning, and they'll promise you everything. Anything you want, they'll do in the beginning. That's how they hook you. So I'm going to repeat it again. If it seems too good to be true, it is. Watch out for someone who just will, promise you the moon and do anything, be at your beck and call. And then just wait. They're narcissistic. It's just a matter of time before they turn in the true color, and then the facade, the veneer fades. It will fade. But I put my heart and soul out in this book, and it just means a lot to me. It really, really does. And I copied and pasted all these emails that we sent from the beginning, and you'll know some very personal things about my life. I always write very deep, intimate things about my life in my books. So that's it. I hope you buy it. I'll put the link for it down below. It's hardcover. It's over 200 pages, and I think I'm gonna go get my laundry.